We've been on this sermon series called Spiritual Trauma, Healing Our Sacred Wounds. And today, I was supposed to talk about healing our image of others. And I will get to that in a roundabout way. But I want to invite, this is not normal, so it's going to seem a little weird if you're newer, but there are tissue boxes on the inside of the aisle. I know they're on the inside because I can see them all. They look like this. I'm sharing a lot from the heart today, and every time I practiced this, and every time I even thought about this, I got extremely emotional, which if you're part of it, you're like, that's not abnormal. What's new? But I guarantee that I will cry through this. So if you're emotional, please pass the tissues down to the end of the aisle. If you tend to be a crier, you tend to cry when you see somebody else cry, please grab multiple ones. We'll keep them down there in the end. If you need more, just tap the shoulder next to you. Way to go, Dina. Yes, and no, we don't plan to come here every Sunday morning and just bawl our eyes out. That's not what we do here. But I want you guys to feel safe and not have your nose dripping in front of everyone else. So, healing our image of God, of others. Sorry, we'll get to that in just a moment. But first, I wanted to talk about seasons. I kind of believe that truth, whatever is true, you can see in the world somehow, and is reflected either in the world or your own experience, and sometimes both of those. And so I love this idea of different seasons. And that's enough. I'll just be quiet so I can embarrass Loretta. Busted. This idea of different seasons speaks to me and my own journey, and I think to all of us, because we're all on a journey of life. And seasons, spring, winter, fall, summer, unless you live in Phoenix and it's just good or hot, beautiful and hot. But the rest of the world, most people have different seasons, right? And they represent different transitional aspects and points in our own journey. Are you with me? 4 years ago, my family and I, by the way, my wife cannot be here today. Last week, she was not here either. She's becoming a pagan. Just kidding. I love you, babe. Last weekend, our boys had a soccer tournament on Saturday and Sunday. And so she's there for both of those. And then they both made it to state, which happened to be this Sunday, which we were like, come on, God. Like, usually they give us like 2 or 3 weeks warning, and they were like, oh, by the way, next Sunday. I was like, that's just unfortunate. So she wishes she could be here today. She was gone last week and this week, but she wishes she could be here today. So 4 years ago, my family and I transitioned. We moved from a small, rural, beautiful mountain town. Anybody ever been to Durango, Colorado? Yes, you guys are like, yeah, why did you ever come here? I don't know. So we moved from there to hot, 115-degree weather, unpacking everything out of the trailer. And we had never in our wildest dreams imagined that we would be a part of such a wonderful, amazing community as you all. Never did we think that that could be possible. And in fact, I was on my own sort of deconstruction wrestling journey. It took me 9 months to find one church after we moved here through a spiritual director and all kinds of other things of what do I believe and what am I going to do? And I found this place, and it's been such a beautiful and wonderful journey. Seasons remind us that everything must change, that there are transitions in our life. And so I'm here to say that my family and I, after lots of discussion, prayer, anger, and lots of tears, will be stepping down. I will be stepping down from lead pastor at the end of June. And my wife and my family and I, we're taking our 2 boys with us. We will actually be transitioning and moving to Seattle. Um, yeah, it's hard without your family here when you say something like that. I'm just gearing up. Being a pastor here at One Church has been one of the most incredibly fulfilling, and not only fulfilling for me, but just inspiring things of my life. I am forever changed because of you. So if you're new here today, you're like, oh shoot, what did I walk into? Sorry. We have served together in multiple different ways. At Feed My Starving Children, packing food, at Ascend, serving down in Mexico together. We have sat across tables as you have shared your story with me and your own healing and struggle and faith journey. We have sat in homes together and discussed things like the Enneagram, the divine dance, the Bible. Who is God? Does hell even exist? What about people who believe differently than I do? We have sat through Discover One churches where we ate together and cried together and shared all of our stories together. I have experienced my first pride with you all. I have played softball with you. Technically, that should be I've learned to lose. We had, I think, 2 seasons and we didn't win one. So I lost alongside of you. I have ridden in cars on the way to the hospital after you got bitten by a dog. Not to single anybody out there. I have smoked cigars on the beach with some of you on a mission trip, of all things. I have drank good wine with many of you, shared many meals, laughed and cried. It's been such a privilege. I deeply love and care about you all so much. This is such a great community that brings healing. It's brought healing to me, and it brings healing to other people. And over the last couple months, I've been thinking, what makes this place so special? And so in a few moments, I'm going to talk about that. But first, 2 questions that go through everybody's mind when somebody drops this kind of bomb in a setting like this is, why are you moving? And what about One Church? So we're going to address those today. Molly is graduating naturopathic medicine, naturopathic school, at the end of June. And she had some opportunities in Seattle and some people to make connections in Seattle. And so I semi-reluctantly said, well, if that works for you, we can't move without a job. It turns out you have to make money to live. So I began to explore and eventually found a job working as a pastor in a reconciling United Methodist church. It's important for you to know they are a lot smaller than One Church, and I'm not trading you in for a new, shiny, better model. The things going on here are so beautiful, and I feel we have generated such positive energy and support, and it's so great, which makes it even more difficult to leave, right? When things are like, why would you, we just feel that was the next step for us. That was the next season for our family. And we believe that One Church will continue to be that healing presence for others. You all are a part of that. So, at this time, I want to invite Tracy Knuckles to come on up. Tracy is the chair of our board. And so, what is going to happen to One Church? The board has taken a long journey through this process, as I'm sure you can imagine. Yes, that'll be turned on. And so Tracy's here to kind of share a little bit of that process with you all here.
Yeah, so let's just take a deep breath. I think when Jacob did the prayer, it was actually almost like a little prophetic, right? We should all do this deep breath and exhale. We have several board members here today. We have some standing up. Those that are sitting, if you'd stand just a second so we can thank you also for all your hard work in this. I see Joe back there, Earl, Dana's here. Okay, good. Just stand for a second so they can see you all. And Karen's back there. Thank you. So as Aaron and Molly have been going through this, I've also been going through a thing where I've been thinking about the journey of one church. Is this on or off? I can't tell. Okay, up here? Is that better? Okay. So I've been thinking about the journey of one church. And what is so amazing is as I look back over the last 2 years, I could look over for 4 or 5, but if I look over 2 years, a lot has happened. So almost 18 months ago, we asked Aaron to step in and be our lead pastor. And he has done an amazing job with that, right? What happened a year ago? We decided to give up a smelly, stinky trampoline park and move into this facility, right? It's a year, and we're packed. And so that gives us some other interesting challenges. When you think about how it all works, it's amazing to me. You have a crew that comes here on Sunday morning early. They set up. You have our musicians. You have people in the kitchen. You have people helping with the children, ushers, greeters, and they're all showing up, and this thing is all working amazingly, and it is all of you that make that happen. Yes, Aaron has shepherded us through that, and we're very thankful, but it's all of you. Find another church where you can say that in a 1-year period, over 1/2 of the members each time went into a foreign country, had a mission trip, and helped others desperately in need. I don't know where else you can find that. And I've been in several of those different kinds of congregations. I don't know where you can find that. And so there is a whole lot going on. And as the board members began to wrestle with this over the last several months, it was inevitable that we wanted to find a way to continue that passion, to continue to see the vision, the mission of our church, basically, to continue to show compassion to others in the same way Aaron has shown compassion to us. And he's led us in that way. And so after a lot of hours and prayerful discussions and meetings, it dawned on us, we have that person right here in our own midst. And so now to do a little churchy language, we extended a formal call to Angie, who has accepted that. Thank you all. I know that it chokes her up. I've had some of these discussions with her. We are going to have a formal event on June 24 to do this correctly. We want to celebrate Aaron. We want to celebrate Molly, graduation, my word, raising kids, taking care of him, going through college. I mean, think about it. I mean, she needs to be celebrated. We will also have a formal installation for Angie to be our pastor. There's a formality to that. And we will be sending Aaron and family off to a climate that, is just not the same as ours. But there's something important here. Many of you know we're part of the Open Network. And I think what we're going to see is that Aaron moves on from place to place, taking the message of compassion, the message of openness, the welcome that he can give is going to move on. I don't expect that this is where you're going to stay, your next place. I have this feeling inside that you're one of those that is going to carry this on. And so please put on your calendars for the 24th of June, because we're going to do something big, and it's going to be important. And it's going to be very important that we all continue to help and support Angie. This is an awesome undertaking. She will be giving up her own business to do this. But the passion that we have seen in her seems to be that same passion that we got from Aaron. So Angie.
I think I needed those deep sighs this morning. First, I want to thank this community, because it's ironic that this message is being interjected in the middle of our spiritual trauma series, which was not intentional at all. At all. That was just a really weird freak accident. But I will segue into the fact that it is this place that has helped me heal my trauma. I came into this community already giving up on faith community, looking for another chance. And Talia and I walked into the doors of Extreme Air Park probably not that long after Aaron and Molly had been here. So nearly 3.5, 4 years ago. And I felt something different. And Molly and Aaron were the first people that we met. And it was their love that spoke volumes to me, that gave me healing. And it's amazing what a simple word of "you're welcome here. You're safe. You belong." Genuine interest in me and my wife. Not scared, not terrified, but a genuine love that made me go, this is the place I can call home. And this allowed me to heal and to nurture those wounds, and allowed me to pick up this old idea I've had for a long time. And I had been in church leadership for a really long time, doing spiritual work, but I threw that away. And this place gave me a time to heal that dream and pick it up again. I realized that sometimes for the church world, I might be the least likely candidate, which is something I say often, a purple-haired, tattooed lesbian. Let's state the obvious. Tracy just goes, eh. But I'm going to lean into it. And I know that I won't look like Aaron, or sound like Aaron, or act like Aaron, but I really, really hope that I will love like Aaron. And that is something that this community does so well. This community has taught me what it looks like to have healthy leadership, what it means to be a healthy leader, what it means to be a healthy community. That it's not a hierarchy, that it's communal. That we are on this journey together. I'm human. I will probably make mistakes. I hope there's grace in that. But I want you to know that I too, along with the board, had given this lots and lots and lots of prayerful consideration. Lots. I too saw a spiritual director during this time and said, what does this look like? And I found myself being invited into a journey that is with you. And this community means the world to me. This vision means the world to me. And something that I see is this love that's here. We keep attributing it to one church, right? Because we're finding it here. The thing that we're describing, that's the divine. That's the divine. We're all feeling and experience this true divine love. And the second that I was invited into that, I went, oh, no, this message, everyone needs to hear this message. This divine healing love. And so it's my desire that we continue to carry that out. That we stay true to who we are in loving and accepting all kinds of people, different beliefs, different humans, different hair color. I love you all. And thank you. And thank you, Aaron. Thank you. You've poured into my life more than you'll know. And I'll leave it at that, or I won't be able to talk anymore. So thank you.
So again, please put the 24th on your calendar. I don't know if we have a slide for that or not, but we are going to have a big event that day. And Aaron, you have more to say?
Yes, I do. Yes, you're not rid of me yet. Oh, gosh. Where are my notes supposed to be? I don't know. My iPad died, so I'm back to paper. We'll see how that works. First of all, we have a tremendous board here who really loves and cares for this community, and none of them would have realized what they signed up for. But I am so thankful that we have this diverse board that really cares and has walked and navigated through this. And also, Angie, I'm gonna lose it. It's gonna be okay. But I couldn't be more proud and encouraged and excited for you to sort of pass the baton in a way. There's few people I know that I would want as my pastor, and you are one of those people. You and Talia are two amazing humans. And I still remember that first day that you guys came on the trampoline park, and I still remember afterwards seeing you at Pita Jungle. And you've also been an important part of my journey through meeting, through interning, through helping me. I don't know if I can be a pastor. Yeah, you can. All of that ups and downs. Angie speaks regularly here, but she does so much more behind the scenes. She created this spiritual trauma series, which somehow I had to overcompensate and butt in and create this bomb and hopefully not create too much more trauma in the midst of this. She set up and coordinated the Pride event, and she has worked with me on almost all of the sermon series and everything. And she's been an important part of my journey as well. So I'm so fully confident in you and your abilities, and I'm so excited for you and Talia and your guys' future together. Yeah. That's not where I'm supposed to be. Give me just one moment. I'll figure this out here. There we go. Okay. So a little bit. I've had time to reflect. I'm like, why is this community so special? What is it that really makes this place special? And so I've kind of narrowed it down to two primary things that I think we can think of. Oh, there's a safe space. Oh, it's inclusive. Oh, it's loving. Oh, it's all these things. And I think it is all those things. But at the end of the day, I think there's two things that really jump out to me when I think about why this community is such a healing presence. And on the next slide, you can follow along with me. I think the first thing is that this community emphasizes the good within all people. The second thing I think this community practices is non-coercive love. And I don't know if you were here a couple weeks ago, but I kind of talked about our lives as sort of this journey where we kind of continue to grow. And I wonder if those two things aren't sort of the edges that propel us moving forward in that. The community that emphasizes goodness within all people. I'm not going to dive too deep. I thought about diving into theology, but it's almost 11, so I won't do that. But there is this view that says that you're corrupt and evil and broken and in need of something. And I think I struggle with that view because I don't think that's the biblical view. And I think the biblical view, if you start in the biblical story at the very beginning, God creates and calls it good. 5 times good, 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 good. The 6th time, very good. So what I have seen, and what is so different than much of society, is that this community seeks to look at the good within you and call that forward and encourage that forward. How many of you today will be vulnerable and raise your hand and say, I've struggled with self-love, acceptance, feelings of shame, or unworthiness of some sort? Okay? If you've read anything by Brené Brown, shame is so prevalent in our community. No human needs to be told that they're bad or broken. We all feel those things within us. What we need is other people to tell us that's not your identity. Your identity is good. Who you are is good. And there's a lot of really, really destructive theology that can be behind that, especially when in the name of God or the Bible or whatever, being who you are isn't just broken, but is actually corrupt. And somehow you need to try to change who you are, instead of seeing the goodness within you, calling that forward and allowing the other things, the struggles of shame, inadequacy, whatever that might be, to fall away. I was listening to a podcast recently, and the person was asked this question: do you believe people can change? Or are we kind of stuck in a place? And she proceeded to say, I think that there's a lot of research that says in neuroscience and neuroplasticity that we can change kind of the way our brain function. To some extent, we can begin to modify and change our behaviors in some way. But then she said, as a parent of kids, that she mentioned adverse childhood experiences, and that going through that herself with her kids and their negative experiences as foster children, that everything she's read from that organization and other places suggests that the most single important part of changing that child's behavior over time is a single, stable, significant other. We need other people in our lives to help us on the healing journey that we're all on. We need each other to call forth the goodness within us. We need other people to encourage us when we just don't feel like putting another foot in step of the other, right? Community is so absolutely important. We were on a mission trip not too long ago, and we were sharing, and I was trying to listen as best as I could and in learning what is jumping out here. And one of the things that I saw was this inherent goodness. When people are saying, I can go and walk on the beach and hold my partner's hand, and it's not weird. No one's going to judge me, and everybody just thinks it's normal here. And other people saying, I feel like I don't have to put on any sort of facade, which in the world and in our jobs, sometimes we feel like we have to, because we're not sure, can they be trusted, because people have broken our trust. But here I feel, because other people are vulnerable and open, I can be vulnerable and open. It's that emphasizing the goodness within all people. And the second thing is non-coercive love. It's amazing the things people do in the name of God or in the name of love. It's ridiculous. I've come to the conclusion that it's really the simplest way to tell, are my beliefs right or wrong, or good or bad, is to sit back and just ask the simple question, does this bring about healing and wholeness and health in other people's life? And if it doesn't, then I need to question my beliefs, because they're flawed, they're broken. So the fact that young LGBTQ people have extremely high suicide rates should cause us to look and say, what is our beliefs doing to these people? Obviously, something is flawed here. Non-coercive love. Jesus says the greatest command is to love God and love thy neighbor as thyself. In 1 Corinthians 13, and it's on the next slide, you can follow with me. Love is patient, is kind. It's not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. In the Message translation, this is literally, it says, doesn't force itself on others. Love is non-coercive. If somebody forces themselves physically upon someone else, we would call that physical abuse. How much is done in the name of God or religion that's forcing those beliefs on other people? Spiritual abuse. If as I shared a couple weeks ago, we take the prodigal son story as a way to imagine what God can be like, the father did not coerce his son. You stay. The father released his son. And when his son came back, was right there, letting his son take his own journey. Yes, there are times in rare circumstances that there needs to be some tough love, for sure. I'm not trying to negate that, but by and large, the majority of the time, if we call forth the good in those people and we love without coerciveness, they will find their way. And so what this community allows people to do is come and be and trust that you will find your way, that if God, the divine, is dwelling within you, that you will find that path. And if we seek to try to create a safe place for you to wrestle with those things, that eventually you will discover in greater ways how loved you are, how important you are, how gifted you are, how a part of something more and greater than beyond yourself you are. Here, I'm going to invite the worship team to come back up here. I believe it's our task, both as individuals and as this community, to not coerce change, but to create an atmosphere, a community, an environment that invites others into an atmosphere of change. On the next slide, Henry Nouwen, one of my favorite writers, says this: hospitality means primarily the creation of free space where the stranger can enter, can become a friend instead of an enemy. Hospitality is not to change people, but to offer them a space where change can take place. Oh, I read that. I'm like, oh, that's it. That's it. Where change can take place. Hospitality is an invitation. Let's sit down together. I don't have the answers, and I'm not going to push it on you. Let's sit down together. I want to hear from you and invite change to take place, and I might be the one that leaves more change than you. That's what hospitality is. That's the way of Jesus. Jesus inviting people into meals. Jesus inviting people into his home, inviting himself into other people's homes. I'm going to come and eat with you, whether you like it or not. It's interesting because all of these stories and images are not a coercive human saying you're flawed, you're sinful, you're broken. They're of Jesus, a human that invites other people in, that says there's a better picture of the divine here. Let's grow together. If I can encourage you in anything else, I encourage you to continue this path of radical hospitality, of inviting people in to an atmosphere of change. Will you stand with me? May you, my One Church community, continue to offer a safe place, not to coercively change people, but to offer a space where change can take place. Amen.
I want to invite you to go ahead and have a seat at this time. I forgot about my wife. So she created a little video, so we're going to go ahead and play that video for you guys really quick.
Hey, One Church family. I'm so sorry that I can't be with you all this morning to make this announcement in person. The boys last weekend played soccer and qualified for a state tournament this weekend, which was unexpected, but I'm here cheering them on and hoping for some big wins today. Aaron just announced his transition out of lead pastor of One Church. Our family will be moving to Washington this coming summer. As many of you know, we moved here as a family in 2014 so that I could attend naturopathic school, and at the end of June I will be graduating, so our time here is coming to an end. Along the way, Aaron was blessed with the opportunity to intern and then take over as lead pastor, and we never expected to be able to lead such an amazing community. It has been an honor to be a part of such a wonderful group of people. You all truly love unconditionally, and it has touched me so much. One Church has taught Aaron and I so much about the importance of community and friendship, and we definitely are going to leave here different people and better people. I have great faith going forward that One Church is going to continue to blossom, and I'm so thrilled that Angie is taking over as lead pastor. I love Angie and Talia so much. They're an incredible couple who are talented, who have just a big heart for this community, and I'm just excited to see how One Church is going to go forward from here under their leadership. That being said, though, we've learned that One Church isn't just about the pastor, and that it takes everyone here to make this community a reality. And so my encouragement is that you all continue to do that, because One Church is doing amazing things, and we need more churches like One Church. I also wanted to express my gratitude for those of you who have kept me in your prayers and offered words of encouragement as I've journeyed through my program. I've definitely had a lot of peaks and valleys, and I don't think I could have done it without you all supporting me and saying hi to me on Sundays and asking me how I'm doing and checking in on my mental health. I really appreciate that so much, and it means a lot to me to be able to finish strong and know that I had such a great group of people supporting me along the way. So this is bittersweet for us. We will greatly miss you all incredibly, but I'm confident that God will continue to bring about healing to our world through this community. And like I said earlier, One Church is unique, and we need more churches like it, and incredible things are going to come out of One Church because of the kind of community that we are. And so I wish I could be here with you all today, sharing this. I love you all and appreciate you. So I'm going to say goodbye now, and just so you know, there's lots of tissues on the aisle, and I'll see you next week.
So we don't need to tell Molly that I forgot about her video. Let's just keep that between us. We had a few things we wanted to say. Those are what, oops, yeah, my wife. Kind of important. Yeah,
Yeah, this did not go as planned. Such is life, right? It's a flowing stream, and you jump in, and you never know where it's going to take you. Well, first I want to acknowledge that this is bittersweet is a great word that Molly used. Bittersweet. It's really hard for me, because if I was offered any other job opportunity, it would be all excitement. And yeah, high five, I've got this new role. But it's hard because it means saying goodbye to someone we love. And it means saying goodbye to a dear friend. And that has been challenging, processing this. And so on my behalf, I want to recognize that there's people in here that'll be shocked, that are shocked. There's people in this place that will be grieving. And you have my permission to do that, and it won't offend me. And I feel like that might need to be said, that your grieving is no reflection on what you think of me. You can, and I will be joining you alongside with you, grieving. Transition is hard, uncomfortable, painful. Moments of growth and seasons of change, they bring us something beautiful through that, but it can be hard during that time. And so I just want to say, if you're feeling any kind of sorrow, grief, anything, it's okay. I also know that there's things that we couldn't talk about and address this morning because we're limited to time. But I will do my best to meet with everybody outside, and if I don't get to talk with you today, I'd love to get to know you more. Most of you I know pretty well. The ones that I don't, I look forward to getting to know you more. So I just also want to invite that, extend that invitation as well.
Yes, and we're doing a little dance together, Angie and I, for the next couple months. I'm not leaving, but she's stepping into that, and so we've talked about that a little bit. And of course, there's no one else I'd rather have passing the baton, but I also want to say that it's okay to celebrate. I was so thankful that we clapped for Angie, because stepping into a role like this is intimidating and daunting and so many layers of complexity. So you not only have my permission, but I would encourage you to connect with her and in any way you can to encourage her and show your support for her. She has my full support.